What's up, guys? So, Gen Con has come and passed, and I wanted to give you guys a quick update on my checklist, how that turned out, and just what the event was like overall, and going forward, what my content will look like and the things that I'll be focusing on post Gen Con. So, to start off my checklist, events. So, I got everything that I wanted to in place and on my calendar, except one or two things. I did miss something that I actually signed up for and forgot to put on my calendar, which was kind of unfortunate. And there were a couple of different events that I put the wrong times for. So, yeah, I definitely need to do better on that next time. But overall, I say it went pretty well. I definitely, if I had to change one thing, I would probably sign up for the events that I want immediately, because those events can get sold out pretty quickly. I definitely want to try and get into True Dungeon next time. Also, I probably will stay in one of the hotels closer to the venue, to the convention center. The place I stayed at this year and last year, was a bed and breakfast that I really liked. It was amazing. Obviously, since I stayed there twice, but still, it would have been nice to just be able to roll out of bed and to just go straight into the exhibit hall, for example. So definitely going to try to get into a closer space next time, despite the price, because I think it's well worth it. So, Clout Commander, I did get a digital copy printed, and shout out to Marquez from Folio Games for testing that out. However, what I didn't do is I didn't have all of the tokens that I needed, nor did I have like the rules printed or a quick guide or anything like that. Didn't have the playmat printed either. But I finished up the actual print file like the night before, and then printed them at the convention center. So yeah, I got that done. But the digital piece still needs to be put on Tabletop Simulator. I was happy with how the game turned out post changes that I made that I hadn't got a chance to test yet. So I'm looking forward to that, actually, making some slight adjustments and putting that onto Tabletop Simulator. And I know some specific groups where people are already interested in testing that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Launching the store. I didn't get a chance to do that. However, in hindsight, I don't think it was really necessary at all. It didn't have anything to do with my journey there to Gen Con. I thought that I may need to have it just to kind of validate my existence for trade day, I suppose. But I don't think that was really necessary. I think that they were just excited to have people. I did, use my LLC to register, which is technically a tabletop gaming related company. So I think that should be sufficient. If not, I apologize. But yeah, I really enjoyed trade day regardless, and I think we didn't feel out of place or anything like that when we were there. So yeah, it was quite the amazing experience. The nice to haves, I did get some shirts printed, and they had some QR codes on there that linked to my website. Next time I probably will do something similar. I'll probably have some new shirts by then, but I also think that I'll have some business cards as well. I didn't know that business cards were still a thing, to be honest. I was like, no, people don't really use that anymore. I mean, we have social media, we have phones, but there is some value in just to being able to have something to give to someone. They can take it, have it in their pocket, and hey, remember what this thing is. Because like, let's say you put something in your phone, you may not, it's just another contact in the sea of contacts that you have. Business cards are just a little bit different. They have more of a purpose. Also, you can kind of like write down what you spoke about and things, so people can remember how to follow up and what to talk about. So yeah, I underestimated the value of business cards. I really felt like it would have been a lot better if I had those, and if I would have focused on getting those instead of something like shirts. But I was happy with how the shirts turned out, and people commented on them, and a couple people scanned the barcode or the QR code, so that was fun. But But yeah, so now to get into, I guess, a recap of how Gen Con went for me. So it actually turned out much different than what I was expecting would happen. So last year I had a lot of opportunities to play games. Like there were just I played so many games. I was constantly in the exhibit hall trying out new things. In the playtesters first exposure hall, that was another thing. I met some interesting people and tried some new games there. Did none of that this time. So I actually barely got a chance to go into the exhibit hall. When I did, it was specifically to go to meet other individuals such as Folio Games, Marquez from Folio Games, and Omari from Colorway Games, the designer of Rap Gods, which I spoke about. And yeah, that was, for sure one of the best parts, being able to meet those guys, but did not spend any time other than that really in the exhibit hall. Very, very little. So, and what I don't think that was necessarily a bad thing either, because that did prevent me from spending more money than I probably should have. So, but next year, I think what I'll do is for sure dedicate some specific time, probably like a whole day for sure. Not scheduled to meet anyone, not schedule any events, just straight up exhibit hall all day. That's the one thing that I want to do next year probably, based on how things went this time. But I was still very happy with how things went because trade day was more beneficial than I could have even imagined. And I signed up for some specific events, but I ended up meeting someone that pointed me towards something called the BIPOC Mixer, which was happening on Thursday. And I remember seeing that in the events, but I think that it was like sold out or at a specific time. I didn't think it would be a good time to be there because of something else that was happening. But someone told me about it and recommended it, and I was like, okay, we'll check that out, and we did. And wow, like it was amazing. I was so surprised that something like that exists at Gen Con, which is really, the purpose of it was a space for, Black, Indigenous, people of color to, congregate into one area and just kind of be around people that look like you. But there was also a lot of professionals there that were giving out different types of advice for anyone that's trying to get into the industry in different areas, such as web development, web design, but also game design and publishing and whatever else you could probably think of, and offering mentorships there on the spot, like 20-minute like face-to-face meetings with some very influential people in the industry. And as soon as I heard about that, I saw it. I spoke with Isaac Vega himself. I made sure I introduced myself to him because I know that I just wanted to, like, my goal was just to tell him how much I loved, Dead of Winter. Like that's one of our group's favorite games, but he ended up telling me about the mentorship program. And I was like, wow, this is exactly what I needed. How did I not know about this? Like, this is kind of what I came here to do, is to meet people and get, and figure out a way how to provide value to the tabletop gaming industry in ways that I best know how. And this was right up my alley. So I ended up having a 20-minute talk with Isaac Vega. I ended up meeting with Patrick Letter, I think is how you pronounce his last name. It's the owner of Letter Games. And also Eric Lang, legendary designer. So yeah, that was incredible. Like I can't believe I knew that I wanted to meet Eric Lang at some point in my career. I never imagined that it would just happen there that day, that at that event so soon, and I got to pick their brain just a little bit about what I'm trying to do with my business in terms of, offering customized solutions for tabletop gaming related projects, as well as speak about my long-term goal, which is to, have a store or a physical space for people to come and actually be a part of an experience that you can only get from that particular place. They told me that I was somewhat on the right path on how I was thinking and what I thought might be missing in the industry. And they also, both of them, Eric Lang and Isaac Vega, they all gave me some like homework to do for the upcoming months. And yeah, it was definitely very beneficial, and I'm so glad that I got the opportunity to meet those guys, and hopefully I can provide as much value or more to them as they did for me, because that was just insane, just those 20-minute talks. So yeah, trade day was incredible, learned a lot. If you know, I did post a video about a recap on some of the things that on some of the takeaways, the key takeaways that I had from trade day, so make sure to check that out. Also, Two Rooms and a Boom, we should have played that a lot more, but we didn't get a chance to. We probably could have, but we ended up going to a restaurant, and you know, we got full, but then we were just kind of tired, so we went back to the bed and breakfast. But yeah, we Two Rooms and a Boom, got to play that. I'm very happy with it. So the place that we went to was this restaurant called India Garden, and man, that food, let me tell you, like, it was insane. I have a little bit of experience with Indian food. Shout out to my good friend Upasna. But this place, man, like, I was blown away at how good it was. The wait was a little bit long because of the guy told me it was short, like 2 members of their staff. But yeah, it was family owned. The food was amazing. I didn't know quite what to order, so I looked at someone else's table and saw what they ordered, and I was like, give me exactly what they had for our appetizers. The main course, though, was something I just picked that seemed like it would be good. It was, from what I know, like Indian food. Lamb is like something that you should always try, so I tried the lamb, and I was not disappointed at all. Great food. Yeah, India Garden Restaurant. It's a little bit of a ways from the convention center, but well worth it. Another thing that we checked out was the Nerd performance, or Nerd, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. It's NUR and then -D. We kind of just ran into it when we were out and about in the, you know, that area that's right outside the convention center, the alley, I guess they call it, Dragon Alley or something, where there's all the food trucks and stuff. And he was giving a performance, and the music was okay. It's not really something that I'm into, but the thing that was so interesting about it was how everyone else was responding to it. Like, that guy has some core fans, and it was just so interesting to watch and be a part of, and get to kind of live through them in a sense of, oh, shoot, I have to go. God damn it. Okay, back now. Sorry about that. I had to go to the gym, so I thought I'd be finished with this video before then, but I guess not. So where did I leave off at? Oh yeah, so yeah, Nerd performance. Yeah, that was just something that I didn't expect, and I'm glad that I got an opportunity to see it. So the next thing I want to talk about is playing Rap God. So I initially was I was unsure about whether or not the game itself would have too much, I guess, you know, like cringy elements in it, I suppose. It's got like this Monopoly kind of feel to it, where it's, you know, there's like these chance and community chess sort of events that occur. And most of them, I mean, actually, I would say like all of them, when you look at it in context of what it actually is, it didn't seem disrespectful or like out of pocket, I guess. I don't know, is the right way to say it. It all seems like it meshed well together, and that it was meant to be how it was. And I was thinking of how I would have done something like that differently, and I don't even know, because it's just so cohesively built into what it is, and it's meant to evoke those emotions of just having a good time playing a game, and you know, having these quirky things happen, and it's all within that theme, but also building along that core timeline of what it is to like a rapper's story, essentially, of the type of things that would occur in their life or in their career to make them either, you know, this big platinum star or not so much. And you, at the end, it's pretty interesting how you get to just tell your story and what happened, how you got to that point. Yeah, I think it was very interesting, brilliantly done. So shout out to Amari for bringing it out at the booth. They, you know, it wasn't out prior, so he did me a solid in playing that with me. So I highly appreciate that. Lastly, the unexpected fun was the adventure dungeon crawl. So there was only about like 30 minutes. I wasn't sure what to expect from it because I've never LARPed before, but it was really interesting how they did the actual technicality of it, because I've played a little bit of D&D here and there, but I never expected, I didn't know what to expect in terms of, how detailed things would get in power balancing and classes and whatnot. And basically look at it as if you have, two hands and you can either hold a sword or you can hold a shield or you can hold some spells, and sometimes you could use, all three or both, if you advance in your level. But we started off as low level, so you can just it was pretty easy to just choose, okay, I want to be a spellcaster, or I want to be a sword wielder, or I want to be a hybrid of both. I chose to be like a paladin sort of person. How they represented the spells was like these little beanbag things that were really soft to get hit by, and the technicality of striking, that was interesting. Like if you strike a person twice in the same spot, it still counts as one. But if you strike a person in one spot and then move to another, then it counts as two different hits. And it's all very soft play weapons or whatever, like Nerf type things. But it was well done, and how they had the weapon play, the sword play or whatever. Like that was actually an element of it. Starting off with, you could tell that some of the enemies, so to speak, the actors that were dressed up as different characters or monsters or whatever, they had this, like in a typical RPG game where they're very basic, predictable movements, but then as you can tell, as you progress through the levels, that the enemies got progressively harder, and they started whipping out spells that do more damage and whatnot. And you're going through this dungeon, and you can do some puzzles to navigate your way through. Then you also encounter some NPCs that you can choose to murder if you want or not. And yeah, it was really, really well done. So it was definitely a surprising aspect of the trip. So yeah, I guess I'll talk about going forward. The type of content that I want to do, or that I will be doing, is somewhat related to the things that I feel like I have to offer to the industry. So specifically focusing on finding digital solutions to common and professional tabletop gaming related problems. That's probably the main thing. But also, we'll be talking a bit about immersive gaming, looking at examples of that, talking to people that are in that sort of field. Had some interesting things planned there. We'll also be going over some LARPing and D&D kind of stuff. Also, I'll be visiting some gaming cafes, checking those out, and talking to some people there. Also talking to people in general about games, maybe even playing some games, but all will be in a sort of informational way. I guess it'll be structured in a way to provide as much value to just the common game player, just the standard game player, but also someone that wants to get into tabletop gaming professionally. So that's what I'll be focusing on there. And yeah, just anything that's related to anything that's happening in the gaming industry that I think is interesting to talk about. I don't have a schedule yet, so I'm trying to work that out. Look out for that. Just bear with me. I know I'm in my early stages here, but we'll definitely get something together that is consistent, and hopefully you guys will get a feel of whether or not you're into what it is that I do. And regardless, I hope you stick around. But I do want you guys to get as much value out of this as possible. That's the end goal. So if you aren't getting value, maybe there'll be some entertaining things happening here or there, but if you feel like someone else might be getting more value out of the type of content that I produce, please send it their way. And yeah, also let me know if you guys come across anything that you think I should cover, or that if just any critique in general on my videos, that would be amazing. I would love that a lot. All right. I'll see you in the next one, I guess. Peace.